Hello, my name is Trisha Elvers. Thank you all for coming. I hope this workshop is helpful for all of you first-year teachers. I'm looking forward to answering all of your classroom management questions. I'm going to open up the floor for questions for all of you. So does anybody have any questions? You back there.
Yes, I have a student that has a hard time staying on task. How can I help this student?
Yes, I know how that goes. You want to be sure that this student has a daily schedule. All of your students should have a daily schedule that they can see, that is visual, and that has times, so they know what is coming up and they need to know what they should be expecting for the rest of the day. It prepares the students and it makes transitions a lot smoother. Any other questions? You!
I think I have too many classroom rules. How many should I have?
That's also a good question. You want to keep classroom rules to a minimum. I'd say 3 to 5 is good, and you want to make sure they're attainable. You don't want to make them, you don't want to set the students up for a failure. Things like, for example, be quiet. Be quiet for some students could be different for others, so you want to make sure you're being specific. Being quiet maybe during a specific time, or maybe talk softly, because be quiet's pretty general. So you want to make sure that your students aren't being set up for failure, that you can make them, please be responsible for your own homework, please be responsible for your pencils, be specific, it always works better. Any other questions? Yes, you.
What are the advantages and disadvantages of letting the students help make the classroom rules?
You know, some teachers say that having the students involved in making classroom rules is a good idea, but I have learned otherwise. Students should have a minimal input on classroom rules. There's a couple reasons for that. The first reason is some schools, just with their district, they have rules that they have to have, and they can't budge on those rules. That's just the main number one. Number two is that classroom policy is essential to managing instruction. It cannot be left to the student's discretion. For example, coming to a class on time, attentiveness, homework, and things like that. You want to make sure that they have no say on any of those rules. Rules that students could have an input on, they're small things like gum chewing, talking during seat work, or having water or food in the classroom. They're not necessarily meant to be a rule, but you can make them a rule just so the students feel a part of the classroom, that they were a part of it. Are there any other questions? You!
Hi, yes, thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time. I had a question. I use clapping as an attention signal, and I think I could find a more effective one. Do you have any great ideas for me?
Well, they always say clapping is very, very popular in schools, and I'm not really sure how effective it is. I've seen a lot of different things. You know, your guided reading books and the books you read in class, they have a lot of catchy, I don't even know what to call them, but like Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. It's a very common book, a lot of kids know it. The teacher, for example, could say Chicka Chicka, and the students could say Boom Boom. And you know, like, so when I say that, the students would know, okay, I'm supposed to listen. And it kind of makes it interesting, and you can change it from week to week depending on what books you read. And I think it just makes it a little bit more fun for the students, and I've seen a lot of good results with that too.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, you.
I have a couple students that get done with an assignment a lot sooner than the rest of the class, and I want them to be productive, but not disrupting the others. What should I do?
That happens a lot, and it's a good question. You should always have a list of things to do for the kids. For every kid that gets done with things, you need to have a list of things that they could be doing. Maybe a workbook, a reading, writing, or a math workbook that all the students have, what's it called? They have access to. Every kid has their own workbook. They can go as far as they want in it, as you know, they can just, it's not an assignment, it's just something for them to do for busy work. I know some schools do accelerated reading. I know it's not required for most schools to do it, but if they can catch up on their accelerated reading books, or just having a quiet storybook. Otherwise, they could always finish up on homework that they haven't previously finished. That's always a good feeling. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, you.
In between activities, I usually tell the students to put their things away and tell them we are starting a new activity. During this time, the students are allowed and not on task. What can I do to make the transition smoother?
Transitioning is always tricky. This kind of goes along with scheduling again, making sure that the kids know exactly what you expect of them. For transitioning, you want to make sure that the kids know that they have enough time to get to the next task. For example, say we're doing math and I want to switch to reading. I could say, students, in 2 minutes we're going to go to reading, and I want you to open up your workbook to page 200, and I want you to have a seat and I want you to sit quietly. I gave many different specific instructions that they were supposed to listen to, and always having a timer so when that 2 minutes goes up, they know that those 2, 3, 4 things has to be done by that timer. Yes, well, I just want to thank you all for coming, and if you come up with any other questions, please feel free to email me. My email should be on your handout that you all received at the back door when you came in. So thank you.